family, and welcome back to another Motivational Friday. My name is Mel Wells, servant of the city of Philadelphia, servant of one day at a time, and most of all, what I'm proud of is my hood, aka community. And I'm sitting here this morning with my boss lady, Latasha Wells, and we are here because we want to just highlight, and it's going to be kind of a quick group, right? Because we have other things to do out there today in the community. It's Friday, we got to get some things done with outreach out in the community, but we want you to know something. That each and every one of you is special, right? And please share this video with people that may still be stuck in their addiction, stuck with problems. Maybe they never got high and they feel like things are impossible in their life. So I want to play a quick clip for you from The Wire. From The Wire, right? Y'all remember my man Omar? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to my B Moore. Shout out to B Moore, who all up here in Philly, right? But Omar was like the most craziest person.
He was.
Right? Yeah. And so how did they act when Omar was walking down the block?
Everybody got scared. It was
Omar!
It was like a lookout. Like everybody started screaming, letting them know that Omar around.
And so if you're from the hood, you knew when the stick-up boy was around. Mm-hmm. You knew you was at the gambling game. You knew what was going on, right? Yeah. But I want to be able to compare this morning. I'm going to try my best with this, right? To make it be more simplistic in our era, right? Sometimes we go to church. Sometimes we go to certain institutions. We just can't get it. So I want to give it to you a way of with my imagination, what I got out of this. And so Omar, to me, was like Saul in the Bible. Yeah. Right? And so we're going to play this quick clip, and we're going to come right back at you. Watch this, family.
Omar. Yeah. Omar coming, yo. Omar coming, yo. Did you hear that? Omar coming. Come on. Get out of here, yo. Omar coming. Put that shit down. I said Omar coming, yo. Somebody is coming now. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Ew! Y'all need to open this door, man, for a huff and puff. Come on now, by the heads of your chinny chin chin.
Oh, boy, you best roll out. We up in here with the Mac 10.
Oh, I think's not, Terrell. I think's not. Y'all might need to think this through and stop wasting my time. Because Omar can come back tomorrow. And the next day. And the next day. And I will put a bullet in all y'all behind what happened right now. You heard? Fair enough.
Oh, family, what an amazing clip, right? Omar, everybody running and so forth, right? You would think that Omar gonna get murdered one day. Something's gonna really bad happen to Omar, right? Mm-hmm. But guess what? God chooses people just like Omar. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to hear that. How can God choose that type of person? God works way beyond our understanding. So my wife is going to dig a little bit. I'm going to allow her to read the word, and then we're going to come back. We're going to highlight, some of our individuals who we know that are doing a great job and has been chosen, but especially the client that just came in last night. Can you take over, wifey?
Yep. I'm going to read a couple scriptures out of Acts 9. Acts 9:1 says, meanwhile, Paul... It's supposed to be Saul.
Go ahead, it's cool.
Meanwhile, Saul was uttering threats with every breath. He was eager to destroy the Lord's followers. So he went to the highest priest. He requested letters addressed to the synagogue in Damascus, asking their cooperation in the arrest of any followers of the way he found there. He wanted to bring them, both men and women, back to Jerusalem in chains.
So look, Paul was breathing out murderous threats. I'm going to get him. Just like Omar, I'm going to rob and I'm going to do everybody. Guess what, though? God chose him while he was even breathing those threats. Please continue on, boss lady.
As he was nearing Damascus on the mission, a brilliant light from heaven suddenly beamed down upon him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Yep.
All right. So he fell to the ground. He wanted to know, Jesus was asking him, like, why are you coming to kill me? What's going on with you and so forth, right? But that was his conversion. That was the start of his conversion. It wasn't nice. It wasn't joyful. But what God had to do was knock him down to let him know who's the real boss. He had to blind him. Sometime I believe that spiritually that we have to be blinded sometime by God because we so used to seeing what we want to see.
Yeah.
I don't see that. And let me just get you to understand is that I'm highlighting here because nobody would have ever thought that a person like Omar, like Saul, can be converted and be one of the strongest people. And I want to highlight to you today that I don't care what's in your background, what you're going through. If you listening to me right now, even if you ain't listening to me, please share this, right? And you woke up, you've been chosen by God. Can we finish out on here? Now, I don't want to show you where this leads us to. Let's go.
So I'm reading 13 now.
So you're about to go into Ananias.
Yeah.
Ananias is an outreach worker. Just look at Ananias as an outreach worker, right? He converts, he makes fishers of men, right?
Yeah.
But Ananias is like, you know, the typical outreach person saying, but not my outreach team, because that go everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, what? You want me to go reach out to Omar? Omar that carried a gauge? Omar like Saul, like Paul? You got what I'm saying? So let's look at this outreach worker. And what does he say and how does he take this in?
So in 13, but the Lord exclaimed, Ananias, I've heard about the terrible things this man has done to the believers in Jerusalem. And we hear that he is authorized by the leading priest to arrest every believer in Damascus. But the Lord said, go and do what I say, for Saul is my chosen instrument to take my message to the Gentiles.
Can I stop, babe?
Huh?
Like, are y'all understanding what's going on here? What the world sees, God don't see.
Yeah.
God don't see the stain of our sin, what it puts in our life. You got to realize that God wipes all that away once your heart is open with the right motives and saying, I'm willing to step up. I'm willing to level up. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to grow and become more of a conqueror, to be even better. Whatever it takes for God to change my life, that's when I'm down. When you say, Mel, you preaching at me. No, I'm not preaching at you. I'm talking to you, right? Is that if you really want recovery, you got to understand that recovery is a spiritual process.
Yes.
It's not a keychain wearing process. It's not a gold chain wearing process. It's a spiritual process. Why do we say that? We know that the first step talks about is that we had to be willing to surrender to a power that's higher than us.
Yeah.
Please finish this out.
Okay. Go and do what I say, for Saul is my chosen instrument to take my message to the Gentiles and to the kings, as well as to the people of Israel. And I will show him how much he must suffer for me.
So you say, wow, to be chosen means I got to suffer, right? And you could jump in and elaborate on that because I think that, you know, a lot of people look at me and they may say, wow, Mel's the president of One Day at a Time. Man, I had to get laughed at so much when I started leaving the streets alone, catching scepter, wearing clothes from the, you know, the Goodwill. Look, going in and out of jail. I'm like, why am I going? You love the Goodwill, right? I used to hate my dad took me to the Goodwill, right? And so, but I'm like, why am I going in and out of jail? I felt just horrible. Selling dope and everything. But one of the reasons I did not die, I truly believe, was because of God's grace. You have God's grace, whether you Muslim, Christian, whatever you are, right? To must have an understanding that God creates his own ingredients. Yeah. I don't know if you ever seen your mom cooking, right? And she gets chopped that bone, that meat, and she gets thrown in the pot. I'm like, Mom, I'm not eating, boy, but I come back.
So
after I play ball, smelling good or what? That's what God is. He is the most best chef. Yeah. He is the creator. He's the miracle maker, right? And we have to also stop judging people.
Yeah. Because
we may have smarts or we may not. But we love to judge people. Let's understand that God chooses whoever he want to choose. So be careful who you judge. I've seen people that even try to, you know, they degraded me, talk down to me and whatever. Now they see me being the president One Day at a Time. They're like, wow, I used to treat you this way. Now, does that give me the chance to go back at them and make vengeance mine? No. Two wrongs don't make it right, right? Why? Because when you're on a whole nother level, you're flying with the eagles. You're not flying with the pigeons. And I wanted to highlight this to you, right? And I want to jump in before we end out. My wife has some announcements. We know we kind of going through this fast because we wanted to keep your undivided attention and talk to you about, you know, things that may go on with you in the dark. Don't worry about that, right? Worry about what you're going to do pressing forward towards the mark. Let's get into this, right? Guess what? Jacob was a cheater. He was a cheater. So anybody out there cheating on, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't cheat because you'll kill me. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Right? Peter had a temper. He was ready to get snapped off. Remember Peter cut the person's ear off and so forth like that? I don't know if we got any people with tempers right here around One Day at a Time, but I ain't going to, you know, elaborate on that.
You cut somebody's ear off.
Right? David had an affair. Remember, David looked over at Bathsheba. He was peeking at that girl. Oh, wow, look at that. I'm going to go mess with her, right? And then Jonah ran from God. What was Jonah thinking? Jonah was just running and running. Remember the guy got swallowed up in the fish?
Yeah, he was tripping though.
He was tripping. He was always like, I ain't going that way, right? Sometimes we become too self-righteous and even think we can hide from God. Gideon was insecure. Thomas was a doubter. Sarah was impatient. Elijah, he gets was moody. You can even ask, what? What do you want? What do you want? That was Elijah, right? And then I'm not going to, Abraham. Look what God did in his life. Abraham, it was old, but God was able to still use him. He was able to still to have kids with Sarah. Yeah. He does miracle things, guys. And I'm not coming here to just make you a church goer or whatever. I want you to be a warrior of recovery. What do I mean by recovery? I'm talking about your fitness. I'm talking about your mental capabilities. I'm talking about the holistic approach. My dad told me all the time, he said, Mel, it's easy to get the person off of drugs, but it's not easy to get them to stop abusing situations. Wow. Right? And so that's what it's all about, making sure that we get there. And guess one of the last people I want to mention from the Bible was Lazarus. How did he do Lazarus? What was the problem with Lazarus? Lazarus was dead, and Jesus brought him back to life.
You played Lazarus a lot of times when you were
young. I played Lazarus when I was a kid riding around in the casket. You're right with that. My question to you is, how many of us are alive today, but living as though we dead? Not allowing this transformation to happen in our life. We got to get away from, who Mel want to be, who you want to be, who Tasha want to be. The best person you could be is the person that God created you to be.
That's it.
And the only way you can get through that is by going through the pain. So today I just wanted to highlight that you have been chosen. How do I know how you've been chosen? A lot of y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about, been in and out of jail. But I was born and raised in one day at a time. I gave up my bed and my mom's house for one of the one day at a time first clients. Then my brother had to give up his bed, my sisters and everybody, people moving out. We had the first recovery house. And my dad couldn't read that well. He knew how to read. He studied his Bible. He taught himself even how to read later on in life. But when we started ODAT, he couldn't read that well. Right. A man off of death row was chosen by God, and that's Reverend Wells. This man was on the run for 20 years. After he started ODAT, he got arrested, and he did so good with just reaching out to people. The judge, the governor, and everybody, they kicked him out the jail. They said, we want nothing to do with you, but please keep saving lives. My mom, awesome, she was chosen. My mom went through so much abuse when she was a kid. Molestation, a lot of things happened back in those country cotton field days, right? But she knew how to pray. And my mom got chosen way back then to bring in people into her own home, to turn their lives all around. I'm talking, my dad took care of the drug addicts. My mom took care of the shooters and the murderers. How I know that? I was a shooter. My mom took care of me. Love you, mama. Right? But I also want to just highlight to you, guess who else been chosen? You.
Amen.
Jennifer, the fiscal team. You've been chosen. I know I'm working the heck out of y'all. Why? Because you've been chosen. Also, Joby BMX bike, right? Chief of ODAT staff. Amazing guy, man. Joby's not here because he just went to temple. And I don't want Joby to hear this, right? God already knew. I know Joby probably looking, Mel, here we go with this guy stuff, right? God knew when he started putting you in that BMX bike, right? When you was a kid and you kept breaking your arm and people thought your mom was even beating you up because you had to go to the hospital so much. But God knew that you would one day build a BMX bike park for the kids in North Philly. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. Yeah. God works beyond something we can ever see, right? And then we also have the street team. These guys are all ex-offenders. I was talking to 3 of them, and I added up the time. I think the time was like 58 years out of 3 of them. They done did in prison. Now they out here saving lives.
They killing it.
They killing it. It brings tears in my eyes, some of the stuff I used to do with these guys. But guess what? God chose them, not me. Also the outreach team. Man, y'all going on the street every day. April, you have been chosen.
For sure.
You got a lot of good stuff. You got the paperwork, the degree. You know what I love about you? I love your process. You've been from the front door, from the front steps, begging to come into ODAT. Now you're bringing people into ODAT with a master level degree. And so I just wanted to highlight, a few individuals out there because I believe anybody and one day at a time has been chosen, whether you're a client or a staff member. But I want this person to know this. Just like Omar, you had people running from you yesterday, or maybe you was running from people. For the client who just came in, I want you to understand something. Hold on. Hold on, because you just been chosen. When my dad first sent me to jail, one of the things he was telling me, he said, Mel, you've been chosen by God. How I'm chosen by God? And you let these people put these handcuffs on me. Where God works at, we would never understand. So I just wanted to highlight to you that God is mighty and awesome. And this is why one day at a time we'll continue to do the impossible. Why? Because with God on your side, nothing is impossible. Right now, my wife will do some announcements because we got a lot going on.
I wanted to real quick, though, highlight April because She was killing it in the middle of a pandemic. She
She
had no
killed it.
excuses.
You're right.
She had no excuses.
She never stopped working.
And she's a great leader for the whole outreach team. So everybody that worked with her, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, and she got a word from the state.
Yep,
she got a citation from the state for herself.
They actually trying to steal her from us. But
yeah, we ain't let nobody steal you. You got to realize, that is a real gang, a positive gang.
Right.
Go ahead.
Also, I wanted to let y'all know about same day pay. Same day pay is getting ready to go on more than one day a week. I'm gonna let y'all know that. I can't give y'all everything, but just stay tuned. And today at 12 p.m. we are going to be at 17th and Cumberland. We're going to clean up the community. We're going to give out free food, free platters.
Street, baby. Street.
To what? 200? What is how many?
I think it's about 200 platters, good food, rice,
Jamaican
beans, jerky,
food.
chicken,
Yes, the Caribbean, the good food. And we're going to be out there today at 12 p.m. So you can come out, you can get a platter, you can help clean, one block at a time. And yeah, that's all I got.
Listen, man, listen. It's been great talking to you today. But make sure you go out and every time somebody tells you something is impossible, you let them know it's possible and look up to the sky. And you make them a believer through your faith. Listen, this is your boy Mel Wells sitting here with my boss lady. Who that?
Oh, that.
Holla back. Peace.
All is one and the same. You're better off putting one in your brain. Cause plenty of pain instead of sunshine, thunder and rain. So many of us under the strain. We need to get